Shir is always 8:45 until further notice.
Meanwhile,
Erev Shabbos and then on Motzei, not on Motzei Shabbos.
Whatever, but a normal day, 8:45.
Yes.
Okay. Also, why is tomorrow the best day to do tashla?
tomorrow's Yud Gimel Midas in the. I see the Shazachin. You wear a Bekisha.
No, I'm not denying it. But why tomorrow? I usually do Erev Yom Kippur. I just like doing it Erev Yom Kippur.
You could do it Erev Yom Kippur, but that's what the Chassidish Svarim say.
Why? Because tomorrow's Yud Gimel.
Tomorrow's Yud Gimel Midas. Yeah.
And we playing tonight, boys. Mommy said 9:15. Mommy said 9:15.
Okay, Mama said 9:15. Okay. Yeah, that's a shot.
Can I ask a question?
It works out well that we forgot to do it today.
Why do we push off Kiddush Levana till after Yom Kippur? Don't we want more zechuyos now and more mitzvahs now?
That's what the song says.
That's the Gra. The Gra says like you. The Shifra Akui did it last night. I didn't do it, but the Shifra Akui did it. That's some say it's better.
You could say the same thing about Sukkah. Well, build a Sukkah before, get more mitzvahs in. But they say right after Sukkah, right after Yom Kippur, you start doing the Sukkah. Show another mitzvah.
Wait, fast the whole day and then do every single mitzvah you possibly can. That
Basically, yeah. Show Hashem why He let you live.
And if you make it till the next morning, then you know you did a good job.
Well, I mean, it's totally when if you're confident that you're good enough for this year, Yom Kippur, then keep it for next year, right? If you're not so confident, then do it.
I don't know whether I'm confident or not, but I mean, wouldn't I rather want more zechuyos for now and more mitzvahs now?
Depends how confident you are. No, that's the pshat is that one you want to wait till you're besimcha, right?
I'm besimcha now, no?
I'm
I'm confident, so I'm besimcha now.
You are besimcha now.
I mean, maybe I shouldn't be, but I am.
No, you should always be besimcha.
So I'm saying, so I am.
What?
I'm saying I'll be more besimcha if I could say Kiddush Levana.
Okay, so say it. Who's stopping you? Who's stopping you from saying?
No one's stopping me. I'm just curious why we push it off.
We push it off because after you're done, what do you call it? After you're done with Yom Kippur and this Simcha that we're there, then you say it. Seems to be that there's an Indian of Simcha when it comes to Kiddush Levana. Like that's why we want to do it Motzei Shabbos when we're wearing suits. No?
Hold on, if I change before Shabbos is over, I shouldn't do it.
No, but that's the point. You shouldn't change. That's it.
That's my Onik Shabbos. Not sitting the whole suit in a suit pants that don't really fit.
I can't help you with that, Peretz. Yeah.
Eretz, earning Shabbos used to be 5 shots, but you now do it every day. So you took away your own earning Shabbos.
No, that's why I upgraded the bottles, Rabar.
Oh,
I have my Vachadika drink as Kirkland.
good, very good. Yeah, I did that when I used to drink beer all the time. I had Shabbos beer and I had Old Milwaukee and Bud for during the week, and I had glass bottles of the good beers for Shabbos. Yeah, I used to do that.
I hear. Yeah, very good. Okay, let's go. Yeah, we should have really gone to the Mishna last time. We were just running so late. So we're on the bottom of Yud Aleph from the base. Okay, Masnisin. Yeah, so we're talking about the Mishnah.
Where are we up to? I'm sorry.
Yud Aleph from the base about 7-8 lines up from the bottom. We were looking for you on the daf last night, Naftali, because we were talking about the Maisha's head.
I heard.
You heard, okay, you heard. So maybe that's why you stayed off. All right. So Masnisin, The loiki haitana the Tanya. Amar of Shimon ben Elazar. Ma'adim b'sham v'zil shemasagan as a b'yom tov. B'sham v'zil ma'adim that you're allowed to take down. You're allowed to remove the, what do we call it again? The shutters. Yeah, on Yom Tov. The only machlokes is whether you're allowed to put them back on. The Shammai says you're not allowed to put it back. Bazil says you're even allowed to put it back. But that's only when they have a tzir. Tzir is like a, how do you call it? A bolt.
Hinge.
A hinge? I don't know if
Well,
here it means
it's a bolt that they used as a hinge. They used to place it on the tzir to swing it.
Right, but it seems like it sticks into the wall.
He touches it here as a pivot.
A pivot.
Yeah.
That's a basketball term. But I don't think anybody gets that one.
Same in
Rabban,
Menachos
Rabban,
by
get that one.
Hilchos Mezuzah.
Yeah, but it's a saloon, apparently it's a saloon door.
Right.
Or
I
or
thought it
Dutch
was- I
door,
thought it was
Dutch
like,
door,
you know,
half door. The
I thought it
half
was like with
doors.
those folding tables where sometimes you pull it and then, you know, like when you're having a dining room table extension and there's these things, they stick into the, you know, there's like a hole in one end.
The dowels, yeah.
Whatever, that's okay, whatever it is. So it's saying, so that's only if they have tzir. But if they don't have any tzir, then everybody says it's mutter. That you can, meaning that you could just take down the shutter, put it back. Somebody asks, we said the opposite. That when did they have the machlokes? When there's no tzir. When there's none of these, whatever this thing is. But if it does have a tzir, then everybody says that it's awesome. Right? So Rabaya, so now we change. We're saying when it has this, what do you call it? Pivot. When you have this, whatever this thing is that goes, it goes into the wall, right? It's basically like not a screw, or something like that.
It's the pivot foot. It's the same.
The pivot
it's the
foot.
same
Okay.
thing.
All right.
It's
Now you
not
talk my
the
language.
thing.
You're talking my language now. Yeah. Okay. All right. But when it has this pivot on the side, then it's aser. If it doesn't have a tzir at all, so then divrei kol mutter, because again, it's not going to stay in permanently. That's not any sort of building. So we're talking about where it has this pivot or the whatever in the middle. Because one says we made a gzeira of the tzir in the middle because of the tzir from the side. And the other one says we're not geyser. Right? So basically, so what comes out is that the two different prices are discussing what the machlokes Beisham and Hillel is it's all about what's with the middle, what if there's a pivot in the middle, right? Meaning one brisa calls that tzir, and one brisa calls that doesn't have a tzir. Okay, but that's what it is. Fine. Now I don't know, Marchik's on. I don't know. This is the most famous Gemara, I think, in Beya. Coming up right here. Gershon agrees. I would think so. So
we should cancel all the other ones that you said the same thing?
I never said it, but no, it's in
No,
Beya.
but we're he's basically telling you can log off.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, so Beshamai Oimrim. Ein Matzian Loyas a Kotan, Veloyas a Lulav, Veloyas a Sefer Torah Shesarabim. You're not allowed to take out not a Kotan, not a Lulav, not a Sefer Torah to Rosh Hashanah. Meaning you're not allowed to carry anything Rosh Hashanah on Yom Tov. Beisila Matir, and Beisila says it's mutter. Right, which we're going to see. And Rashi says, what does it mean, Loyas a Kotan? So it says 3 examples of what you're not allowed to carry, but essentially what it is, it's anything that's not for food. Anything not for food is not allowed to be carried according to Beishamai, and according to Beisil is allowed to be carried, but we're going to see exactly what the qualifications are for even for Beisil. So again, according to Beishamai, there's no carrying on Yom Tov. According to Beisil, there is. So Tani Tana Kamid Rav Yitzchak Bar Avdimi Hashoichet Oilas Nedava B'Yom Tov Loiken. So we know that a carbon oila is totally eaten by the Mizbeach the kohanim get nothing from the korban oila other than the skin. So if you shech the korban oila of a nedava, meaning a nedava is a present, so it's not required to be shechted on Yom Tov. You could shecht it after Yom Tov too. It's just a present, not a requirement. There are korbanos that are oilas. That's the oilas tamid, the korban tamid. That's because that's a korban siva. You have to bring that every Yom Tov, right? But a voluntary korban, you're not allowed to. If you do that, you're going to be chayim malchus. Yeah, that's what Rav Yitzchak ben Avdimi said. Samarlei da'amar lachmani. So they said to him, who told you this? He said, Beishamai. That's going according to Beishamai. Da'amri Beishamai says, Lo yamrina mitay shehutra ha'tzal l'tzarech hutra nami shaloi l'tzarech. It goes like Beishamai, who says that we don't say mitoich. In the Velt, this is called mitoich, which is essentially as follows. You're allowed to carry for food purposes. So Beis Hillel says, mitoich, since you're already allowed to carry for food purposes, therefore we're going to allow you to carry for any Yom Tov purpose, but it has to be a Yom Tov purpose. So Beis Shammai does not hold a mitoich. Beis Shammai does not hold a mitoich. Beis Hillel does hold a mitoich. Yeah, what are you saying?
So how far do we stretch mitoich? Because for Itzah, we're going to say mitoich even for something shalei l'tzarech. Is that true about every single malacha? Are we going to allow every single malacha mitoich?
Yeah.
So you're able to be over every single malacha for anything?
Well,
By that
how about
logic?
smoking? How about smoking?
I'm saying then I could turn my lights on Shabbos on Yom Tov, according to that logic.
Yes, you can. You theoretically, yes, you can. If you need
So
light
what's
in
stopping?
you can. No, you can't because it's a noilad. It's an issur d'rabbanan of noilad.
So anything midoraisa that has no issur midorabanan built into it, l'chayr will be mutter, no matter what.
100%. Yeah, as far as I know. You want to say if you want to shecht, can you shecht an animal because you need to make the skin into a football?
Can I build a house?
Can you build a house? Is it a tzarech Yom Tov?
If you let's say you need to build an oven so you could cook
Wouldn't
food.
that be noilad?
Yeah, that really, yeah, there would be carrots. Yeah.
That'd be an issur d'oraisa. What do you mean? Binyan. Binyan is not noilad. Noilad's noilad. Binyan's binyan.
Said build a house.
Right. 1
I'm
second.
asking. So every issur midoraisa l'chayr you could do no matter what because mitoich.
If it's a tzarech Yom Tov, correct.
No, it doesn't have to be tzarech Yom Tov.
Yes, it does.
Sorry, no,
mitoich has to be l'tzarech Yom Tov.
I'm asking if you're allowed to do binyan, let's say for tzarech eichel, can you also go ahead and now do?
First of all, you can't do a binyan l'tzarech eichel because it was efshir because you could have done it from Erev Yom Tov.
So only certain malachas are efshir.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to drive a car because of pikuach nefesh. So therefore, if I want to drive to shul, I could do that also. Mitoich.
And a chanami, you could drive a car if theoretically you have a way to drive a car. No, if it was a way to drive a car that it wouldn't be noila, then yes, but you can't.
No, wait a minute. So I'm allowed to ask I'm allowed to go on a bus or ask a guy to drive me to shul on Shabbos, right? A guy can pick me up and drive me to shul. I'm not over any noilad, right? The guy is taking me.
The guy is doing it for you.
So what? I'm not doing anything.
It's a Shabbos
or just Yom Tov? This is Shabbos or Yom Tov?
You're not telling the guy. You told the guy's your eved, right? He comes. You tell him, I want to go to synagogue. So I want to go to shul Shabbos morning. So I'm allowed to do it because of Nefesh, right? You say mitoich.
Not
No,
Shabbos, it's Yom Tov, no?
Wait,
Even if
how
it's
about-
Yom Tov, there's Enochanami, if there was Aish, if the Aish existed from before Shabbos, it would be okay.
Am
But
I
there's
allowed
an
to get on a
additional-
bus? Am I
There's
allowed
an
to get on
issur
a bus?
d'rabbanan of noilad. It's you're not allowed to do it from scratch or moilid, whichever way you want to say it.
Am I allowed to get on
How
a bus?
about for me? How about Zev's case for me?
Good. You want to start being mater a shvus to shvus for somebody who has a hard time walking? Good. You can be mater that on Shabbos too. It's one less shvus. It's a shvus. It's a d'rabbanan. Good.
Well,
But
no, yeah.
And a chanami, maybe. Zev, maybe.
What's better, the bus or those Trumah wheelchairs?
Electronic wheel. What's better, a bus or electronic wheelchair? Definitely a bus.
When
I don't know.
Yaakov Peters soil, when he was in graduate school. I think it was in Michigan State. So they made a minyan for Yom Tov, and the dorm, it was tens of thousands of students live in the dorms, and the buses run 24/7. They just, whatever the bus, then they just pick up students and take them to different places on campus. So he had a heta. They had a minyan in one of the buildings, and they were able to go on that bus for that minyan for Yom Tov.
Yeah, so what I mean, so he went on, but that's different because that bus is driving there anyways.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying anything. I'm not.
No, I'm saying like a shuttle. Let's say an airport shuttle.
That's what
right?
It was, a shuttle bus. That's
right,
what
so
it was.
it's a shuttle that the guy's driving anyways. Right, but that's yeah. So that's not Zev's case. Zev's case was specifically yeah. But yeah, in Hanami, that would be a case. But either way,
Well, we have the issue of the gas. That causes more gas.
the gas. The Shama Zalman doesn't really hold that that's such an issue.
Does Beishamai hold?
Oh, Uri, welcome back.
Wait, but then that makes sense with the elevators going up, that it causes more pressure to go up.
Shama Zalman said doesn't have an issue with that.
Does Beishamai hold the Hutzah all on Shabbos?
Does Beishamai hold the what?
Hutzah on Shabbos at all? Because there's no Ochel Nefesh on Shabbos. What's the Ochel Nefesh?
No, everybody holds a Hutzah on Shabbos.
What's the Ochel Nefesh that you need on Shabbos?
This is Yom Tov.
I understand. I'm asking from this, can we infer also? Meaning, Beishamai is saying that there's the only reason why you can't carry is because these things don't have an inyan of Ochel Nefesh on Yom Tov, right?
Right.
That's why you can't carry them. So you can only carry for Ochel Nefesh. So there's no Ochel Nefesh on Shabbos, right? It doesn't Yom Tov have a specific idea of Ochel Nefesh, more so than Shabbos?
No, I'm saying on Shabbos there's an issur all the way around, even if there's any sort of tzara.
Right. So in what parameters? Meaning, it seems here that the only way somebody can carry according to Beishamai is for Ochel Nefesh.
Correct.
Right. So that's not just Yom Tov, that's Shabbos too.
No, Shabbos, if you have an eruv or don't have an eruv.
Okay, good point.
Right. It comes out. It's interesting what you're saying because it comes out that if you have an eruv, Shabbos is actually more lenient than Yom Tov. Right?
It's because you're not doing Hexah.
What
does that have to do with Hexah? It's not a shallow Hexah. It's stam.
Correct. But we said right. So we said yesterday that I think it was yesterday we said it that if you do have an eruv in a city on Yom Tov, then this whole thing, even Beishamai is maida that you can carry. No, okay. I don't know if Beishamai would hold. Would Beishamai? Beis Hillel would hold you could even carry shaloi l'tzarich. Would Beishamai agree? Mustama, I think so, but I'm not sure.
What's the lumdus in Mitach?
On Mitach, once we're allowing you to carry for food, we allow you to carry even for non-food.
But what's the lumdus? Why? They have different guidelines.
Right. So we're saying because once. Meaning, the way I understand it is food is a tzarech for yourself. So if you have another tzarech for Yom Tov, that's also.
Yeah, but the Rabbanan would only matter nefesh.
No, but he's saying, as long as there's an enjoyment
what's the lumdus?
That's because it has to be something that is gratification on Shabbos. I'll tell you something fascinating, Zev. It's good. I was going to bring it up later, but now that you mentioned it, this is where the Ramah says that you're allowed to play ball on Yom Tov. Ramah says it beferish, you're allowed to play ball on Yom Tov.
Wow.
Because it's enjoyment. It's enjoyment.
You make it sound like you're not allowed to play ball on Shabbos.
So that's, everybody gets so excited about not playing ball on Shabbos, so that could be because of Haitzah or whatever. The Ramah says, on Yom Tov, you could play ball. It's called enjoyment. The Taz says it can't possibly be enjoyment. The Taz is very unhappy with the Ramah. But Lamaisa, the Ramah says it.
Is that because he didn't know how to play ball?
It's possible. It's possible.
See, Yaakov, the
Taz was a horseback rider. He didn't play ball.
Yeah, he was on a ball. He wasn't a ball guy. What are you saying, Akiva?
I said any derabanan in the Indian Eitzah, l'chayr would still be us, or even when you say mitayich, no?
What do you mean? Well, like what kind of derabanan?
Carrying in a carmelist.
Carrying in a carmelist. Are you carrying l'tzarech Yom Tov or shalei l'tzarech Yom?
If it's shalei l'tzarech,
it's a problem. Yeah, even according to Basil,
I'm
it's
saying,
so the
or if you have a carpet, If you have all these different issues, you can Yom Tov won't help you if it's Shalei L'Tzarech.
Correct. And a chanami, but even if you're 100%, you're 100% right.
No, I'm
The
saying
Mishna
people
Berurah-
shouldn't assume Mitoich doesn't work that way.
It's 100%. You're 100% right, and I think the Olam doesn't understand this. You have, let's say, Mishna Berurah says that if you have a way to keep your keys in a safe place, you shouldn't carry your keys on Yom Tov, right?
Why?
Because that's not a tzarech. Why do you mean? So it sounds like according to that Mishna Berurah, you have to weigh every little carrying that you're doing before you carry. Now, again, we said yesterday.
So if you have a
that-
Shabbos
An Erev, out of Erev?
on Yom Tov, if you use a Shabbos belt,
should use
can't
a
take
Shabbos
out
belt,
the
correct,
Trumah now.
yes.
Many years ago, and I had a Shabbos.
No, you see, but the thing is, like, what you say, Naftali?
With an Erev or without an Erev?
Oh, this is without an Erev. However, with an Erev, that allows you
And
to
the
do any
tzarech
sort-
doesn't make a difference.
Correct, but we don't check the Erev for Yom Tov. That's all. We're not starting that again. But we don't check the Erev for Yom Tov.
Yeah.
So whether you want to rely on the Erev from the previous week, Mistama you can. Mistama you can, even though we already said the Chazaka, but we're not going down that
So how
road.
come they don't check it for Yom Tov?
I don't know. You want to pay for it? So
There's
so
no
let it
Hitzah, there's no Hitzah on Yom Tov.
No, but they'll allow Hatzah
We
Shaloi
said
L'Tzaireh.
Zev said
Oh.
yesterday, all these organizations have enough money not to worry about it.
Yeah, I don't know, whatever it is. I'm saying people have stuff in the baby strollers, right? They just load stuff up in there.
Yeah, chametz.
You can't just wheel that stuff all over town on Yom Tov. You have to take out, you can only take what you need. Right?
Wait a
So
minute.
we said-
Yaakov,
Yeah.
If you need a machzor, right, and you put the machzor in the same bag as the talus in the thing, you can't bring them both home.
If you don't need it, no. If you don't need it, no. That is
He said if he needs the machzor, but he doesn't need the towels, but he puts the machzor in the towels bag. Can you take the towels bag home that has the
No.
machzor?
no.
Why?
Only if it's a tzarech.
But you need the machzor.
You need a machzor.
What?
You need the machzor for mincha.
Yes, but you don't need the towels. No, what is your
But
problem?
could you put the machzor in the
What
towels
does
bag?
one
and
have to
take
do
it?
with that?
We understand
Why
what
don't
you're
you carry the
saying.
But one
Yeah,
doesn't have
Naftali,
anything to do.
We figured it out what you meant. We had a conference. We figured out what you meant.
You cannot. No, you can't carry just because it's in
Why
one bag.
don't we say it's a buses?
What?
Why don't we say it's like a buses?
That's a muksa issue, but that's not a hitzah issue. Not
you
a
also
hitzah.
can't really make a buses on Yom Tov day.
Wait a
Have to
minute,
be
is it a
Bein
problem? Is this also a problem?
Okay, so you say before you say finish
If you have
buses,
an
this is what
Erev-
you're gonna do.
If
Okay,
you have an
you need a
Yeah, I
Erev,
don't know.
if you have an Erev, is
Yeah.
it still a problem?
If you have an Erev, it's no problem.
Why? You're taking home something that's really you shouldn't be taking home.
No, but since there's an Erev, there's an Erev there.
Is it
So
a
it's,
chana
It doesn't
problem?
make you
you
muksa.
can have a achana issue. That's a different issue. You signed up for a very complicated religion, Naftali. What should I tell you? There's all issues all the way around town. There's nothing you're gonna do. There's
Did he
no-
sign up? He
Yaakov.
signed up, or he was?
He was
Sign
signed up. He was signed up. I think he's
Kaf
happy with
alem
it.
har
What he said.
gegiges.
Yeah, so
I'm
he- he-
asking to Yaakov Halacha. Is it a
Yes.
problem if there's an Erev, if you take home your talus with your machzor?
No problem.
What about
Why? You don't
Because the
need-
Erev allows tiltul shaloi l'tzareh.
and a chana is not a
Because it
problem?
has an Erev, just like on Shabbos, it's tiltul. There's no such thing as carrying. If you have an Erev on Shabbos, you don't have to do tiltul shaloi l'tzareh.
Achana's not.
Hachana is a different story. Yeah, Hachana could be an issue. Hachana could be an
So
issue.
is it? I'm asking you. Is it an issue or not? Yes.
It-
Meister.
To
And
carry,
why you have to do the Erev?
No.
to carry your talis home on Yom Tov and you're not planning on wearing it that day, it would be an issue of Hachana unless you're scared that it's going to get taken.
But Achana has nothing to do with the Erev. Achana has to do with preparing for the next day.
Correct. Yeah. No shaykhs to
No
Erev.
shaykhs
Okay.
anything.
Gershon, what do you want to say?
Would you rely on the Erev on Yom Tov? Would you carry?
Me,
Shaloi
myself?
l'tzareh. Yeah. Still not?
Oh.
Same
That's a
thing.
personal question.
not.
You can't ask
Still
them. You can't ask
Still not. I have no problem. Still, the Erev doesn't exist, which I tell you. For us, it doesn't exist. It's not, you know what I mean?
So in other words, Gershon, Mitzvah Shem, the first day Sukkot, you won't see Rabbi Yaakov carrying his towels. We were carrying a softball and a bat and a mitt.
There you go.
Oh, Taka, what do you do about the little Esrog?
That's tzarech.
You do that in your house, in your sukkah.
Yeah, but
can't
you
play
said
softball
Tzarech you
in
wouldn't
your-
carry.
You can't play softball.
No, he
in
said he
your
wouldn't
sukkah.
carry load tzarech on Yom Tov.
No, that's a tzarech. That's on Yom Tov. The carry l'tzarech is fine. right?
Only the first.
Or we
day.
just make a minyan in our
Only the first
backyard and
day.
it's not an issue. Yeah,
The
anyway.
second
If
day-
only,
the
if only, if
The
only.
second day you're gonna bring it also.
You bring it home because you hope that the wife needs to shake it or the
Right,
kids.
The second day you're gonna bring it to shul.
Why not?
You already did the non-newing from the first day. What do you need to do the second?
No,
day?
you need it as a second day. Second day is a separate day. Second day is a separate day.
Yeah. Can you bring
Wait,
your
wouldn't carrying
home
the
the
lulav
second
and
day?
Shalayla tzarech?
No, so and a chanami, if nobody in the house needs to take your lulav and esrog, and then who says you can bring it home?
But that you could be worried
It's not
about. something
eichel
happening.
nefesh.
Right? You said
What?
if you're worried about something, now you could be nervous.
It's not oichel nefesh. Not oichel nefesh.
That's Shalayla
Right,
tzarech.
if you can be worried about your
It's
talus, I'm sure you can be worried about someone taking your
Right, that's
esrog
what
and your
Naftali.
lulav.
That's what Naftali's saying. Now I thought, I'd come to Ireland, is not jumping on the cigarette ban over here. No, we're not. No.
Because we know that's
Most
already
of us
usher.
don't smoke. We don't care.
I hear. Okay.
That's
Okay.
mamash
But it's
eichel nefesh. And Simchas Yom Tov.
I have issued cigars.
cigars, whatever. Anyways, okay, fine. So that's what it is.
Even
So
the Mishnah Berurah calls it shia.
Very good. Yeah. So anyways, so again, so Amar le Damar Lachman, he says, B'shama hi damri lo yamrina mitay shut zohitzah l'tzarech hutra nami shaloi l'tzarech. The Beis Hillel, because if it's Beis Hillel, ha amri mitay shutra hoitzah l'tzarech hutra nami shaloi l'tzarech. Because Beis Hillel says, once we allow you to carry for food purposes, we allow you to carry even for food purposes. So Chanami mitay shutra shchita, Akiva, this is exactly what you asked. Hutra, when I lost the place here. And hachanami mitashu shchita letzarech, since we allow shchita, if you need to shecht an animal to eat it, hutranami shaloi letzarech, we allow you to shecht an animal, even shaloi letzarech, which would be a carbon oila, that's a nedava. It's not really a tzarech yom tov, but we allow you to do it. So Maskal Rabba asked the kasha.
Why is only the shchita a problem?
But
If
he's gonna
they
have
were
no
makriv
kohen,
on the mizbeach.
No kohen's gonna do it for him. That's what I'm just gonna say. He ain't gonna find a kohen to do that for him.
I guess you have to
Yeah,
do
but
it.
if they were
Shchita's
makriv, would that be a
kosher, right?
kilkul?
What?
Would it be a kilkul to be makriv oilis nedava? So it wouldn't be a
Would it be a-
chiyav anyway.
It's a kilkul on what? What do you mean by kilkul?
You're burning something, avara, on the
He's saying-
animal.
So it's kilkul.
Why is only a shchita the problem we're dealing with here?
Oh, and a chanami. I think you have further problems too, but we're doing the first one, and I think we're starting with the first, and that's it.
You
The
wouldn't say it's a
Stomach Rabbaran's
kilkul?
right. The Zar can shecht it, right? A Yisrael can shecht it. He's going to bring it to the Beis Hamikdash. You're going to tell him to fly a kite. I would think. I hope that's what they would tell him, right? It would be Marasayan at the minimum. Okay, anyway, so Maskal Rabba, he might be Bisham V'Sila B'Hapivi. Who says that the Bisham V'Sila having the Machlokes Amam Mitay, Dilma Be'erev V'Haitzal Shabbos Ve'ein Erev V'Haitzal Yom Tov Kamei Fugim. Maybe they're having a Machlokes whether we say that you can make an Erev and carry on Shabbos, but not on Yom Tov. They're having a Machlokes. Marsav or Erev V'Haitzal Shabbos Ve'erev V'Haitzal Yom Tov. Beishamai hold that there's such a thing as an Eruv for Shabbos and an Eruv Haitzah for Yom Tov, meaning there's the concept of Haitzah. That's what it means. There's the concept of Haitzah, and you're not allowed to do it. There's an Eruv and Haitzah issue with Shabbos, meaning you need to have an Eruv, and you have carrying issues on Shabbos, and there's no Eruv and Haitzah issues on Yom Tov.
Would that mean that there's only 38 malachos on Yom Tov?
Correct. Yeah. That's exactly.
And this is Tali and Rabbi Akiva. Like, what is this? What is it? How do they mechalik?
Why
would
would
Haitzah be any different? Meaning, how would they? Where would they learn this out from?
Right. So
That it's so different.
right. So look at the next slide. Don't carry out a load from your houses on Shabbos. B'Shabbos in b'Yom Tov loy. It's mashma that only on Shabbos is it also to carry on Yom Tov. It's not also, right? So that's how they would learn it. So
Really
maybe that's the
37,
cut.
not 38.
What?
It's really 37 malachos, not 38.
Why?
Cook. There's things for cooking. There's another one. There's hutzah and then this.
No, if you would hold that the Haitzahs, if you would hold of this, then Beis Shammai would not allow you to carry even for food. I think, right? Beis Shammai would hold that you can't even carry for food, right? That's yeah. So then Maskal Rabbi Yosef Elamiata live avonim. If that's the case, so why do you have to have this machlokes about carrying a child, a sefer Torah? Why don't you just have a machlokes about stones, right? Yeah, I mean without getting involved in the muksa issue, right? Now it's interesting. This is a very famous Rashi here again. I'm starting to stick with the famous here. Look at that. Just let's kedai right into the right in Rashi. Liflugu ba'avonim. Why don't they have a machlokes with avonim? Now, as we all know, muksa is an issur d'rabbanan, right? Contrary to popular belief, muksa is a d'rabbanan. Why did they make the gezerah? So some Rishonim say that the reason they made the gezerah is because it's not Shabbosdik to carry around things that are not meant for Shabbos, so that's not Shabbosdik. Rashi here says, "Ein issur otzah, ein issur tiltul." If there would be no issur of carrying, there'd be no such issur of muksa. Shaloi nesa tiltul ela mishum hoitzah. Muksa was only because we're afraid you're going to carry. Meaning, according to Rashi, the reason why they said things are muksa is that Rashi held that if you're going to allow somebody to move things around inside the house, you're going to end up carrying it outside the house, which is a fascinating gezerah, because that means every single thing is muksa, right? So if that's the case, so why isn't every plate, every fork, you might take your fork in the middle of the Suda, stand up and go outside and you carry. And then Rashi continues, the Mashaloi goes, are all called tiltulim. This that they didn't make exer on every single thing. Afilu al eichlim b'kelim, even on food and kelim. Mishum de'ein geyzum gezerah al tzibur. You can't make a gezerah on the tzibur. Elam kein roiv tzibur yechaylen lamed ba. Only if most of the tzibur. Yeah, it's a fascinating thing. Mashma that really, according to Rashi, they would have asked. I don't know how we would eat. What would we eat? How would we eat on Shabbos? Right?
But you would be mekatze before Shabbos. Wouldn't be muktzah. So your Shabbos food and cake wouldn't be muktzah. But everything
I'm not so sure if that would work according to
Why?
Rashi.
You could walk out with that fork.
No.
Right.
Yeah. What's the difference if you set it aside?
So what? Everything would be finger food?
No.
Not even. You wouldn't be. You'd have to drop the food down from a string from the ceiling. That's what
Why?
I think.
Even according
Would
to
have to
Rabbi
be-
Yehuda.
What does that mean? You have-
Salami. Dried salami from the roof.
Set your table before Shabbos, like you're setting that aside.
Yeah, but why is that not still an gezerah? You might carry your stuff outside.
Well, that and they allowed you to be mekatze. The klisha malachta le'eser is
So you
muktzah,
have
unless
to,
you're
right,
mekatze.
so we have to
not.
understand. We have to understand how all those things would work according to this shita, right? But it's a fascinating shita that the whole gezerah of muktzah was because they're afraid you're going to carry outside. Oh, so how can we have food? And that's only because the tzibur couldn't be oimed on it, right? That's the only reason. Otherwise, really, all that stuff should be muktzah too. So now,
the whole way muktzah came about. I remember the Gemara in Shabbos discussed how, like, in the beginning, they went to an extreme because how bite they were. So you see that originally, and they put it to an extreme. Obviously, they had to leave room, but they did put it to an extreme in the beginning when it came to muktzah. Almost everything was issur.
Right, exactly. Everything was us, and then they dialed it back. Right, they dialed it back. Anyways, so that's what the Gemara is saying. So why don't you just have them machlokes by stones? That they don't disagree by stones. It's only everybody holds you're allowed to carry on Yom Tov. It's just a matter of whether you're allowed to carry things shaloi l'tzarech. Okay. R Yochanan savar b'mitoch shutra etzal l'tzarech shutra nami shaloi l'tzarech pligi. That the machlokes in Bisham v'Silo is over mitoch. The Tani Tanaka made the R Yochanan. Hamavashal kid. We haven't had one of these cases in a while. Hamavashal kid hanosha b'cholav b'Yom Tov. If somebody cooks the gid hanosha in milk on Yom Tov, right? V'achlu, and then he eats it. So he's a grand prize winner of like a chamesh. He gets 5 malchus, and like a mishum mevashal gid, he gets malchus because he cooked the gid. Which again, there's no issur of cooking the gid on nosha, but he cooked it on Yom Tov. And that's not a tzarech because you're not allowed to eat the gid on nosha. So he cooked for no reason on Yom Tov. That's one. But like a mishum oichel gid, and he ate it, so he gets malchus for that. But like a mishum mevashal basa b'cholav, he gets malchus because he's cooking basa b'cholav. Right, because the gid is basar and then he cooked it in milk. And he gets malchus for eating basar b'chalav. That's yes, that's l'chayra. Yes, I think they discussed it. The other Gemaras say that. No, this is a raya.
Other Gemara
was it Rishonim?
Yeah.
But like a mishum havara, and he also gets malchus for burning for no reason on Yom Tov, meaning there's two isurim. There's cooking on Yom Tov, but there's also making a fire. He made a fire, Shalei L'Tzarech Yom Tov. So Amalei, so he said to him, Puk Tani Lebra, go teach this price outside. Right? You're mistaken. Havara Bishul ain't a Mishnah. Havara in Bishul is not a Mishnah. Meaning that's incorrect. Right? They are mutter. They are mutter on Yom Tov, even Shaloi L'Tzarech.
Right? Who said he made a
Yeah, go ahead.
Who said he made a fire, this fellow?
You mean maybe it was already an existing fire?
Yeah. The case doesn't say he made a fire.
It didn't say he made a fire.
What did he do? Sous vide with an immersion heater?
No, maybe he used an
There was
existing
a fire.
Fire was there
There was an
already.
existing fire.
He lit his cigar or his cigarette, and now he still had the flame.
I hear. I don't know.
Presumably,
Unless
he would
maybe we
need to
say
be
stir the
moist fire to
coals.
cook meat.
I hear.
Moist
I don't
fire
know.
would be a derisa here.
Who said
maybe
he was
he did an
Why are
existing
you
fire.
making up your own case? The Gemara says he was cooking. It doesn't say he made a fire. So the Gemara then says, ladies, chai for making a fire. It doesn't tell me in the case he made a fire.
I hear.
He has enough trouble, this fellow. What are you making him? He didn't make a fire.
Yeah, you're right. He's having a bad day, this guy, 100%. I don't know. Must be that he made a fire too. That's what you have to say, I guess. I don't know. I hear. Okay, so he said, go teach it outside because it's not true, because we say mitoch. Mishnah, and even if you're gonna say it is a Mishnah, Beishamai da'amri, it's going according to Beishamai. It says lo yamrina mitoch shuto it's all tzarach utanami shalol tzarach. It's only going according to Beishamai. Hachanami lo yamrina mitoch shuto havara l'tzarach utanami shalol tzarach. The Beis Hillel, because it was Beis Hillel, kiven da'amri mitoch shuto it's all tzarach utanami shalol tzarach. Since Beis Hillel holds of mitoch. Meaning, even if you want to say it's a proper Mishnah, that Mishnah is going according to Beis Shammai, and it's not going according to Beis Hillel, because Beis Hillel would hold that you're not chayiv for Havara and you're not chayiv for Bishul, because since you're allowed to cook for eating purposes, you're allowed to cook even for non-eating purposes. But what's the obvious kasha on this? What kind of eating purposes is it for Gid HaNasha, even according to Beis Hillel? Right? You have to have a tzarech for Yom Tov. Even
you're not
Beis
gonna get
Hillel's
malchus
mighty, you can't
according to
just go
Beis
make a
Shammai.
campfire
You're
for
not
no
gonna get-
reason according to Beis Hillel. What?
It's only Xera. That's only Xera that Beis Shammai answers it. So you're not going to get malchus for that. Meaning, even according to Beis Shammai,
True,
it's
but the
Xera.
Trumah was saying, but the Gemara is saying now, according to Beis Hillel, it's mutter. Right?
Not
What
that
do you mean it's mutter?
Not that it's mutter, that you're not going to get malchus for it.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but they still would have to allow it. If you're saying mitoch means that it's mutter.
No, it's not mutter. It's aser midarbanan.
Then we're not going to say mitoch we're not saying mitoch to get you out of malchus. No?
Midaraisa.
Unless
How does midaraisa mitoch work?
I don't know.
I'm saying the way Rashi explains it is it's better. You say mitoch, but midarabanan, where guys are things that are shalel tzara, according to Rachel.
I don't know. So see Toises. See, look at Toises. Top Toises. Vim Tomer mat tzarich ika b'mavashul gid kiven shu asa issur. What kind of tzarich Yom Tov is that to cook a gid? It says yesh lemer kiven shayu b'daita shazel la'achloi hainu tzarich Yom Tov. I don't know exactly what Toises means by that, since it was in
that
his
would
daf
make
to
a
eat
kasha
it.
on the first set of malchus. The first set of malchus would fall off now. Like him shumavashal good. It won't be. Now it's the tzarich Yom Tov.
Right. No, what do you mean? When he thought that he's going to eat it?
Yeah, so he won't get malchus for the cooking. Mavashal gid. The first set of malchus that he got was bishul gid anasher. That was the tzarich Yom Tov now. Why couldn't we answer here like the other Gemaras? that really yesh begin with nice and time. So you cook it with
Gershon, I couldn't
Trumah.
agree with you more. Epuch and Yalla.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, okay, whatever it is. So anyway, that's the end of the Gemara. Okay, I'm sorry, that's the end of the Gishmaka part of tonight's stuff. Now we're on to Trumas and all that for at least tonight's stuff and part of tomorrow's stuff. So whatever, we let the fun roll a little bit here, and now we go weiter, yeah? Fine, Zok the Mishna. Now we know that you're not supposed to separate Trumas and Maisrus on Yom Tov and on Shabbos because that's tikkun, right? It's sort of like you're fixing the food. The food's not edible. Midaraisa you can, Midarabana you can't.
Which
now also
it's
not a makapata because it's like tikkun. You're fixing.
So what malacha?
There is no Gzeira D'Rabbanan of sort of like well, tikkun could either be makapatish, it could be sardis, so baina, it could be any number of things. That's one. But there's also challah, right? Parents are expert at taking challah. This challah that goes to the kohen, that you're allowed to take on Yom Tov because that's a tzarich for Yom Tov. Trumas and Maises you could have taken off before Yom Tov, right? Challah, you want to make a fresh challah, you got to take off challah, and that goes to the kohen. The shaila is that you allowed to give that to the kohen. What?
Why couldn't you make that before?
Because it's fresh challah is much better on fresh challah is much better, right? That's A. B is then every animal that you shecht, you also have to give the matnas kahuna from the animal, the what do you call it, the zroya and the lechayayim, all that type of stuff. So that you can also separate because you don't have a choice. The shaila is, can you give it to the kohen on Yom Tov or you have to wait till after Yom Tov? So that's a machlokes b'sham v'sil. So Zok the Mishna.
What's the reason I'm saying? They both say you can take challah on Yom Tov, right?
Yes.
They both say you can take
give
the gifts off the meat, right?
Yes.
What's the problem with giving it?
Oh, so we have to see. We'll have to see. So Zok the Mishnah. It's how you learn it out. You're not allowed to bring the challah and matanas to the kohen on Yom Tov. Whether you took it off yesterday, meaning erev Yom Tov, or whether you did it today. Right? Yeah. So Beisilo says it's mutter. Amrulem said, now this is why.
But everyone agrees you can set it aside and then eat the food.
Correct. You have to set it aside. Yes, setting it aside is mutter because it's a tzarich Yom Tov to eat. It's just a matter whether you're allowed to give it to the kohen. Amrulem Beishami Gzeira Shava. It's a Gzeira Shava, which is a fascinating terminology because, like Rashi says, it's lav dafka because this is all derabbanan. All these things are derabbanan. How do you have a Gzeira Shava? Teach you how to derabbanan. It's just a phrase. Rashi says a phrase Gzeira Shava. It's not really a Gzeira Shava. Chalo matanas matana l'kohen. Challah and the matanas from the animal are matana l'kohen. Trumah matana l'kohen, and Trumah is a matana l'kohen. Kishem shein malifin as a Trumah, just like you're not allowed to bring the Trumah to the kohen. Kachein malichin as a matanas, because Basilos Maida, you're not allowed to take the Trumah to the kohen. Right? So he's saying the same way by Trumah, you're not allowed to bring it to the kohen. Kachein malichin as a matanas, so too you can't bring the matanas. Right? Amrullah and Beisilo says back to Beshami Loi, Imamarta Betruma, Shaina Zaka Baramasa. It's also an interesting term because Zaka usually means that you're Zoicha in it. Here it means that here it means to separate. Truma, you're not allowed to give it to the kohen because you're not allowed to separate Truma. Right? Time Matanas, Shazaka Baramasa, but the Matanas you are allowed to separate it. So since you're allowed to separate it, you're also allowed to give it to the kohen. Right? So that's the machlokes b'sham v'sil. So now we have three. We're going to have in the Gemara. We're going to have three machlokes, a three-way machlokes as to what the machlokes is in b'sham v'sil. Yeah, those are always very, very easy to learn in the daf. Yeah, that was said sarcastically. Yeah, so zog the Gemara. Yeah, because we're thinking shehormu mehayim v'shenishatu mehayim, that we're talking about the challah. That and the matnas kahuna that happened today.
No, the Mishna said whether the day before or not. The Mishna said it straight up.
What?
If it was separated today or separated the day before.
What's that? We have three different versions of what the Mishnah says. Look, let's say right. Yeah, because we think right that they were separated today, and it was shechted today. Right, and then there's the stuff that was made from yesterday, right? And so meaning, and it's both. It's applied. The Machlokes Beisham Yisrael applies to both. So Mani Masnis, and who is the Tan of our Mishnah? Loi Rabbi Yosi, v'loi Rabbi Yehuda ela acherim. It's not Rabbi Yosi. It can't be Rabbi Yehuda. It's got to be acherim. The Tanya, Rabbi Yehuda, loi nechel Beisham Yisrael al matanis shehum me erev Yom Tov. There's no machlokes on matanas that were separated on erev Yom Tov. Shemalichin im matanis shehum mehayom v'shenishatu mehayom. That you would be allowed to piggyback the stuff from yesterday on the stuff that was for today. Meaning you shechted an animal erev Yom Tov. Then you realize that on Yom Tov you have more guests. You shechted another animal. So he's saying there's no machlokes Beisham Yisrael that says that since on the one on Yom Tov you're bringing to the kohen, right? So you're allowed to also take the ones from erev Yom Tov and bring it, right? Which means that he holds, that Beishamai holds, that you are allowed to bring the stuff to the kohen on Yom Tov for the stuff that was shechted on Yom Tov, like that, which is different than our Mishnah said it. The whole of Machlokes is can you bring it by themselves, right? Meaning the ones from erev Yom Tov. Yeah, the Beishamai danen, and this is what Beishamai would say: challah matanis matana l'kohen u'truma matana l'kohen. Right, challah is and matana challah and matnas kahuna goes to the kohen and truma goes to the kohen. Kashem shem melichin is a truma, just like you're not allowed to bring the truma even from erev Yom Tov. Kach in melichin is a matanas. So I'm going to say loy imat betruma shein is zakav ramasa. Truma, you're not zaycha in the truma, meaning you can't separate the truma. Matanas is zakav ramasa. But the matanas you are zachib in the truma. Okay, that's Shitas Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yosi, no, he says a different shot. Like nechlugu Beisham v'silul al matanas shemelichin. There's no machlokes in Beisham v'silul on the matanas that the shemelichin that you are allowed to bring them on Yom Tov, right? That meaning you're always allowed to bring on side from erev Yom Tov, side from Yom Tov. Like nechlugu el ala truma. They're having a machlokes on the truma. Beishamai remain malichin. Beishamai says you're not allowed to bring truma. Basil says you are allowed to bring truma, which is obviously not our version of the Mishnah, because our version of the Mishnah clearly holds that everybody holds that truma cannot be brought. The kachayu Beis danen. This is the way Beis Hillel learned it. In challah matanis matana l'kohen. Challah and the matanis is a present to the kohen. Or truma matana l'kohen. Kashem shemelichin is the matanis. Kach melichin is a truma. Same way you bring the matanis, you bring the truma. Matanas, you're allowed to do it. You're allowed to separate it on Yom Tov time. But truma shein zakav haramasa, you're not allowed to. Then this is the third shita. There's no machlokes on truma. She'ein malichin, that you're not allowed to bring truma. Right? The whole machlokes is on matanis. Beishamai says you're not allowed to bring it. Zil says you are allowed to bring it. Yeah. So which sounds like our Mishnah. So why don't we say that our Mishnah is acherim and not Rabbi Yehuda? So when it says Amar Rava mikatari shehurmu mehayom v'shenishchatu mehayom, right? Doesn't mean that the truma was given today and it was shechted today. Shehurmu katani. It says shahurmu, right? It's they were separated on Yom Tov, but really the shchita was yesterday, right? But had they shechted the animals on Yom Tov, then even Beishamai would be minded that you're allowed to bring it. Yeah. So therefore, that's the way you could fit it into Rabbi Yehuda. So then Rabbi Yehuda v'lo acherim. So let's say that our Mishnah is like Rabbi Yehuda, not like acherim. So you say, no, our Mishnah could even be acherim, and it's talking about when the stuff that was shechted from yesterday, right? It's only on some of the stuff that's what the Machlokes is. So if that's the case, then that's basically the same din as Rabbi Yehuda. So we say the difference between them is when you want to do tuffle, meaning the main things that you separated on Yom Tov, right? Whether you're allowed to bring it together, are you allowed to bring the stuff from erev Yom Tov together with the stuff that was shechted on Yom Tov, right? Cherem holds you're not allowed to, and Rabbi Yehuda would hold that you are allowed to. Fine. Okay, I hope that was understandable. Basically, there's three pshatim and how to learn the Machlokes, Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. Fine. Omar, Rabbi Yehuda, Omar Shmuel, halacha Rabbi yosi. Halacha is like Rabbi yosi, right? That even Trumah can be given to the kohen and Yom Tov, and for sure challah, and for sure matnas kahuna. Reb Tuvi, Reider Rav Nechemia, Havale Garba de Chamra, the Trumah. So he had a jug of wine of Trumah. Also, the commander of Yosef, he came in front of Yosef. Amrle Ma'olam Tuye the kohen. Can I bring it to kohen? Can I bring it to the kohen? I have a jug of Trumah wine. I'll bring it to the kohen. Ha'idna today, right? So Amrle Hachi Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel Halacha Rabbi yosi. The halacha is like Rabbi yosi, and you're allowed to do it. Fine. Yeah. This will eventually get back to our Mishnah, this next case, but it takes a little bit of a while. So the Ushpazichne is the hotel host of Rava bar Rav Chanan, had some sort of mustard, a whole pile of mustard. I don't know if it's seeds, right? I mean, mustard. What? Stalks of mustard. Okay, so Amrle Mao lefruche. What can I? The fruche means to how do you call it? Crumble it. Yeah. Umeichel minayu, and then eat from it b'yomtiv. Meaning, am I allowed to take these because it was in the stalk, right? So it was not edible. So can I take it and mess around with the stalk to get the seed out from inside? Right, I guess
what's the shaila?
It's the shaila of dash. Right, like taking the peanut out of the red, taking the peanut out of the red thing on, which is a shaila exactly why that's not dash. Okay, it's a ganze. It's not clear in the paiskim why you're allowed to take the peanut out of the red, the purple thing, whatever you call that. Okay,
orange peel.
And what about garinim?
Garinim. I think that the is worse because the peanut thing, because it sits on top of the peanut mamish, right? But I don't remember the sugi exactly now. Either way, so he said, "Can I do this with the mustard seed?" It's a loy avabiyada. He didn't have the answer, right? Best answer is I don't know. Yeah. So also kamei to Rava. He came in front of Rava. Amrlei moilalan malilus and mafarchen kidneys b'yavtiv. You're allowed to do malilus is grain. They're essentially the same thing. Just one is for grain and one is for kidneys. So moilam malilus and mafarchen kidneys b'yavtiv. You're allowed to do it. Say Abai asked the kasha. Hamoilam malilus made of Shabbos. If somebody rubbed the grain from erev Shabbos l'macher menafeach b'yad liyad, you can blow it from hand to hand, and then you could eat it. Meaning, as long as you got the ball rolling on erev Shabbos, you're allowed to continue it on Shabbos. All right, basically, you're doing like this. Meaning, you started the crumbling it from erev Shabbos, and on Shabbos you're going to finish the job by going back from hand to hand. But avaloi
because it's kalachayad. This is zayre kalachayad.
It's not. It's yeah.
Zayre,
well, we're going to see weiter. We're going to see weiter exactly what it is, but I think it's not with a kli. It's like a shinu, right? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Avaloi b'knayin v'loi b'tamcha. You can't do it with a knayin and a tamcha. Those are filtering devices. I don't care. You use the word devices. Whatever. It's it's a filtering thing. So if you do these malilas and erev Yom Tov, al yad, the next day you're allowed to blow it from hand to hand. And that's where Yom Tov is more mekel. Because on Shabbos you're not allowed to do it with a knayin and a tamcha. On Yom Tov you are allowed to do it with a knayin and a tamcha. But you can't do it with a board or sifters because those are mamish. Those are meant to be doing it in bulk. So since those are meant to do it in bulk, that you're not allowed to do on Yom Tov, which we're going to get to this weiter exactly what types of malachas you're allowed to do. Most malachas that you're allowed to do on Yom Tov cannot be done in bulk. It can only be done in small amounts. So
why don't we say like you're doing it for guests? Like I'm saying, the issur is not midaraisa, right? Because don't we say that when it comes to cooking, you're able to say even if it's a lot, you're cooking it for guests. The issur is obviously not midaraisa. We say mitayich, but we're passing like Beis Hillel, so it's a zera.
Right, but you can't do it but you can't do these things in the way you would do it for bulk. That's a
So
different.
then why are you
it's not
why are you able to cook a lot and assume you might get guess?
what?
Why
Because
are you able to
there,
cook a lot?
because there it's not. You're not doing individual work. You're putting it all into one pot. Even though yesterday we saw that there's a sheet that it says.
But let's say
can
you
do
put all this into a big Canaan plate, you're doing it all in one shot.
it, yeah. And if you do it, it's still a problem. They didn't allow it like that because it doesn't look like you're doing it for Yom Tov. We'll get to it. Bez Hashem, we'll do the sugi when we get to the sugi in a couple of blocks. Yeah. So whatever. So the Gemara says, "May erev Yom Tov in be Yom Tov loy." It sounds like you're not allowed to do this malilus and this crumbling thing on Yom Tov, only on erev Yom Tov. So Gemara says, "Afilu tem Yom Tov." It really could be done even on Yom Tov. I did ton of Reisha, erev Shabbos, ton of Sefer Nami erev Yom Tov. Only because it says in the Reisha that it has to when you're dealing with Shabbos, it has to be started before Shabbos. So therefore on Yom Tov we also wrote erev Yom Tov, but really on Yom Tov you could even start it on Yom Tov. So imkain matzinu truma shezaka varamasa. If that's the case, then you do find a situation where somebody can be mafresh truma. B'tnan loy yim amartem b'truma she'ein zaka varamasa. Didn't we say in our Mishnah that there's no way ever to have truma, right? So, but here you're saying that you could. There is a potential for truma because we need a little background on truma for this. When do you chayiv to bring truma? Only once the things are no longer in the stalks. That's when you chayiv to be mafresh truma, right? When it's in the stalk, you're not chayiv to be mafresh truma. So what are we saying here? That on Yom Tov, you're allowed to take the stalks and crumble it so you can get to the food, right? But how you eating the food if you're not allowed to take off the truma, right? So right, the whole point in our Mishnah was that truma, the whole back and forth with Bisil and Mishama was that truma you can't necessarily ever be mafresh truma, but here clearly the Gemara is saying that you could be mafresh truma, right? Because how else are you eating these kernels, these mustard kernels? Because if you take it off the truma when it's still in the stalk, that's too early. The truma only happens after it goes out of the stalk. So it must be that we're allowing this to be eaten on Yom Tov. Must be that you're then taking off truma.
Doesn't the
So when it
Mishnah
says
say
like
you're not allowed
kasha,
to give it?
what? Well, certainly you're not allowed to be mafresh it and you're not allowed to give it. It has to be both. What?
Why can't you just be mafresh it to give it later?
Meaning you're being mafresh it.
Don't give it right away. Give it after Yom Tov. But you can be mafresh it now because now it's right to be mafresh. It seems the Mishnah, you meduik from the Mishnah, it says umatanos lakoin. You're giving the matana. It doesn't say anything about hafrasha.
No. In the Mishnah we said that since you can't be mafresh, right? Yeah, that was part of the time back was that she'enoi zakai baramas means you're not allowed to take off truma on Yom Tov. That was his whole taina, that you're not allowed to take off truma on Yom Tov, right? So here you are allowed to take off truma on Yom Tov. Ultimately, you're right. It's going to lead to whether you're allowed to give it or not, but you're not allowed to take off the truma on Yom Tov. And here, this is a scenario where it seems that you are allowed to. Right? So Gemara answers, like kasha, now on Tamid Aleph, it's not a kasha. Ha-Rebbe, Ha-Rebbe yosi Rabbi Yehuda. One is Rebbe, one is Rabbi yosi Rabbi Yehuda. Right? Meaning the one that you're allowed to be mafresh truma is going according to Rebbe, and the one that says not is Rabbi yosi Yehuda. Tanya hichnis shiboilin. Last is man Isa, if somebody brought in shiboilin, meaning just the grain. Last is man Isa to make dough from it. Oichel mehen arai. You're allowed to eat from it temporarily, upater, and you're pater from truma, because we know that temporary eating is pater from truma. L'maylim and melilus, but if you want to rub them to get off the kernels, then Rebbe mechayev. Rebbe says you're chayev, right, to take off truma before you eat them. Rabbi Yehuda pater. Rabbi Yehuda says it's pater, right? So comes out that according to Rebbe, that you are allowed to take truma. And then that would be a situation where you're allowed to take truma on Yom Tov. According to Rabbi Yehuda, that would not be a case that you're allowed to take off truma on Yom Tov. So the Gemara asks, Rabbi Yehuda, nami mishkachas law. But even Rabbi Yehuda, you can find a case where you're allowed to take off truma. Yeah.
This means that our Mishnah, Rabbi wrote our Mishnah according to Rabbi Yosi, not according to
himself.
Yeah.
I guess. Yes.
Wow.
Right. Yeah.
It's a good one to learn Erev Yom Kippur. Mavrel B'Daisav.
I hear. Okay.
One second.
Yeah.
What was the other thing he wasn't about? With the
What's that?
Cheshbon.
Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda, Nami Mishkach is like going to the Shibayim last man Isa. You brought in the Shibayim to make dough. And then you change your mind, the Mailam B'Yamtiv, the Tavla, B'Yayme, that's an Arabic. You changed your mind, now you want to be Mailam. So that became Tevel that day, which means that you didn't have the choice to do it from Erev Yom Tov, because it wasn't Chayiv and Trumah and Erev Yom Tov, it became Chayiv and Trumah that day. So if that's the case, then that would be a case where Rabbi Yosef would allow you to separate it. Elamai Trumah, Roiv Trumah. So it doesn't mean in the Mishna that you can't take off Trumah. Roiv of the time, you're not allowed to take off Trumah on Yom Tov, but there are scenarios that you would be allowed to.
What's this kasha?
Just that even according to Rabbi Yosef, there's a possibility that you could take off Trumah on the Mishnah says that it seems like nobody else you can ever take off Trumah. Right?
Yeah, maybe according to Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda, you can't be machlis to the shar on Yom Tov to make an issur. Who said you're allowed to? Why is it so pashut to this Gemara that the Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda would allow that?
Because it has to be.
Why?
Because it became Trumah that day.
Now you could have done Erev Yom Tov though, bringing it into the house.
Right. No, but you brought it into the house for Isa, which wasn't Chayiv and Trumah.
Do that Erev Yom Tov. That should be a chiyuv to do Erev Yom Tov.
Yaakov, you done?
Yes, we are done. Yes, we are done for tonight. Yes.
Sorry.
All right. Have a good night. Okay, the Trumas is not so easy. Yeah. What are you saying?
No, finish what you're saying. I'm sorry.
This is a scenario.
Why are you allowed to bring it into the house to make a kri? Making a kri on Yom Tov should be issur anyway. So this bringing it to the house to make an issur should be issur. That's tikkun, whatever you want to call it.
Right. No, but
Well, I don't understand why it's so pashut to the Gemara that bringing it in to make a dough would be mutter.
there you don't have a choice, right?
What do you mean? Because he didn't do it Erev Yom Tov? There are many things we don't allow you to do on Yom Tov, which you should have done Erev Yom Tov.
No, but you brought it in originally. It didn't need Trumah.
When? You brought it in when? You brought it in Erev Yom Tov.
Yeah.
To what? To make a dough.
Right. So it's not Chayav and Trumah.
Why is it not Chayav and Trumah yet? You made a kri, you were machnis it. I thought the point was that it is Chayav and Trumah. That's why Meilam and Melilis doesn't help you. Even
No,
if
put the
Meilam
other
and
way
Melilis,
around.
you still have to take Trumah. No, Sheikhnis Shibalin Laus is when issur. You brought it in Erev Yom Tov.
To make it for
Erev
Isa.
Yom Tov.
Correct.
Make for issur. So you can't take Trumah yet.
Correct.
Because that we wouldn't allow you to do on Yom Tov.
Yes.
The problem is that now you Meil under Melilis, it's Tevel.
Yeah.
Since it's already Tevel, you can't. So again, maybe not. Maybe you're not allowed to be Meil Melilis on Yom Tov in this case.
No, but that's why you're allowed to. You know what I mean? I don't understand what you're saying.
Here this Meil under Melilis will be mechayiv you to take Trumah. Because it already has a shem Tevel. It already needs Trumah. So you can't eat achilus aray anymore. There's no achilus aray. So Meil under Melilis doesn't help you anymore. So now you would have to take Trumah. That's the Kash of the Gemara. Even according to Rabbi Yehuda. If he brought in this wheat, to make a dough. So it's already a kri and it's chayav and truma. Moil and b'melilis won't help you. So even moil and b'melilis, you can't get away with a chilus aray.
Right.
How do we know that he would allow you to be moil and b'melilis on this? Because he doesn't make enough kamina before.
I'm just assuming that he allows you to do moil and melilus, no?
Any moil and b'melilis is mutter.
I guess. I can't say I have this whole thing on Roy's Klor. Yeah, I that's what it sounded to me like.
And maybe otherwise he should have made enough kamina in the original brisa.
Yeah.
I hear. Okay. Fine.
Yeah. All right.
That's right. Can I, you said something before that they only made zeros on stuff.
10. What do you say?
You said before, unless I probably misunderstood, but you were saying before that they only made zeros on things that were common for people to do.
No, they didn't make zeros on people. Right? They wouldn't make
Right, that
zeros.
Sibur would not be able to do.
Right.
That right, wait, what was that?
Which most people would not be able to keep the gzeira.
Oh, I thought you were saying that they made a xeris. The xeris were things that people would theoretically be common to do.
Not common to do, but be able to do.
Okay, so swimming on Shabbos.
Yeah, tell me, why do people
Making
have to swim?
gzeira. Yeah.
It's
People
not
don't
a
have
gzeira?
to swim.
No. But I'm saying, okay, so that's what I'm misunderstanding. I thought you're saying the issue is they made a gzeira not to swim because someone would come to build a boat. So then the boat building is common for people to do. Or am I totally misunderstanding this entire thing?
No, it doesn't have to be common. Just in case one person builds a boat. But the gzeira is on the swimming. The swimming is something that people can manage without.
Oh, okay, fine.
Most
I thought you
people
were...
can manage without carrying food in their home, whether you need it or not. You putting something away in the pantry would be issur.
I hear. Okay, no, I misunderstood that.
The gzeira atus, they're anyway. A lot of them are strange. No one's building a boat, but you're making gzeira atu building a boat. Okay, whatever that means. But that's the atu. The gzeira itself is what we're handling. If people can handle it or not.
Oh, I got it. Okay. I misunderstood. Tiago, I don't know if you saw my text, but I never got the memo that we're doing tashlich now.
Who's the we? You certainly have to do tashlich.
I'm saying you do tashlich?
It depends on my mood. If I'm by the water and I remember to say it, I say it.
So why am I Badafka doing tashlich?
Because you wear a bekisha.
I can't argue with stuff like that.
You can't.
It's Yaakov.
Yes.
Did someone show you the meme? A guy walking, running up steps every fourth step. So the fourth step is tashlich. The three in between chuvat, filat, staka, he skips to get to the fourth one, tashlich. You saw that?
No.
Yeah, you would like that one.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, is Dave allowed to eat milchigs for lunch on Sukkot?
No different than any other yom.
Okay, fine.
That's all.
Which therefore,
if you're going to eat a dairy meal, you should eat it at night.
Eat it at night, not during the day. What?
What do you say?
Wait.
Eat dairy at night, not during the day?
If you're going to eat a dairy meal, it's better to be a night meal than the day meal.
Why?
Because there's more of a chiyuv of basar on during the day, not at night.
Okay.
Simchas Yom Tov was by day. Okay.
No, a lot of people because it's slightly warm, so a lot of people eat milchigs because it's lighter than sitting outside in 110 degrees eating meat.
Okay, I hear.
No, but that would be a different shiloh, though. Would that be a bigger Simchas Yom Tov? If I find that eating milchigs is more of a Simchas Yom Tov than eating fleishigs, why would that be a problem?
That what?
If to
You're saying
me
if you have-
eating milchigs is a bigger simchas Yom Tov than eating flesh.
Because the Maisa, because basar, if you go with the shitas that you're supposed to eat basar,
Yeah, but that's only because it's basar shalmei simcha. That's something you don't need basar today. There's no Beis Hamikdash. Yayin you would still need. The basar, why do you need? I thought that was stopped because most men enjoy basar. We're fleishigs, we're carnivores, but
I don't know. I thought no, that there's an Indian of basar even bisman hazeh.
I hear. I once looked up all the kairos for this. I got so confused. I gave up. I don't know where any of it is. There's no hachracha anywhere that you should eat basar and Yom Tov anymore.
Any
Not from Gemara, not from Halacha. I have never found it.
any issues with doing kaparas on pigeons, too, Yaakov?
No, what should be the problem?
Okay. I Gerson like that one. I don't know what.
I love it. That's kedai to give an ani for his Sudam Afsakis.
Why do something simple if you could do it complicated?
Yeah, give him some squad. Givaldig. A Suda for a king, you give to an ani every you give for Sudam Afsakis.
The only problem is I have someone to check the stuff, but I don't have an ani to give anything to.
All right, send it to me.
You want some pigeon?
Oh, we're still recording?
Okay.
Yeah. All right, I'm signing off. I gotta go
Thank
try.
you.
All right.
I asked
Thank you.
you.
No, I got